Hello everyone watching, and welcome to part 3. We are currently in the process of making a blanket from crochet. So if you did want to follow along to kind of to learn like how to make the blanket, or how to see the process of how I'm making the blanket, you'll have to go back and watch part 1 and part 2. Otherwise, you may not necessarily understand what's happening with this blanket. So I'm gonna quickly drop in a couple of clips that I had meant to be in part 2, but ran out of time, so I've had to cut them and drop them into part 3. So without further ado, let's jump into the rest of this video. Now you should have something that looks a bit like this. So you've got your double stitch down this side, weird little tassely bit, and you should be just about to go onto this last stitch where the knot is. So now that we've got to this last stitch, we're gonna do the corner, but because whereas on this side we only did the one corner, we have to do 2 corners on this side so that we can come back down this side here. So in case anybody has forgotten, let me just walk you through how to do the corners again. Still doing the double stitch, you wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, go through the last hole, wrap the wool once over the crochet hook and pull that thread back through the wool. Wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull off the 2 stitches closest to the crochet hook. Wrap the wool once over the crochet hook, pull those 2 stitches off so that they drop down onto this thread. We're now going to repeat those same steps one more time. Wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, back through the same hole, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, back through that hole. And then you wrap the wool once over the crochet needle again, pull off the 2 stitches closest to the hook, making sure that you pull that bit of wool through those 2 stitches. And then once again, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull off those 2 stitches so that you're pulling the thread you just wrapped round back through the 2 stitches. Now, once you've done 2 of the double stitches through that, wrap the wool once over the crochet hook loosely, pull it through the stitch, repeat that again, once loosely over the hook, pull it through the stitch, and again we're going to do 2 double stitches through that hole to make the corner on this side. So wrap the thread once over the crochet needle and then back through the same hole we just went through. And then wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, back through the same hole. Wrap once, pull through the 2 stitches, wrap once, pull through the 2 stitches, wrap once, wrap once, pull back through, wrap once, pull through the 2 stitches, wrap once, pull through the 2 stitches. Now that whole time you should have been going through the same hole to make your corner. So now you should have this side done with a corner on each end. Now on the same hole, we're gonna repeat those same steps to make the corner that we just did, on this side. We're going to repeat those same steps on this side of that end stitch that we did to make the corner on this side so that we can go down here. So just again, so that you guys can understand how to do the corners, or hopefully get a better understanding of it. Wrap the wool once over your crochet needle, push it through the hole nearest to you, wrap the wool once loosely over the crochet needle, pull it back through that same hole. Then wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull that thread you wrapped round back through the 2 stitches closest to the hook that you previously made. Then repeat that last step with the 2 stitches that you have here. Now through the same hole that you just went through, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, back through the same hole, wrap the wool once over the crochet hook, pull it back through the same hole, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull that wool back through the 2 stitches as we made earlier that are closest to the hook, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull that wool back through the 2 stitches. And now again, 1, 2. Now you'll notice this little tassely bit from earlier. All you're doing is you're going to lie that across those starting links that we started with, and you're just going to crochet it into the crochet. So now we're still working on the corner. We've done the 2 links. Wrap the wool once over the crochet hook, push it back through that same hole. Watch closely on this part. So we have this little tassel-y bit here. You're going to tuck that under the crochet needle, or you're going to tuck that on top of the crochet needle, and then wrap your wool once over the crochet needle, so that when you pull that thread you just wrapped round back through the hole, that excess thread now becomes stuck in place when you wrap the wool back over the crochet needle to take off the 2 stitches closest to the hook. And then wrap the wool once over, pull those through the 2 stitches. Now again, you can see the corner starting to form. So then double stitch again through the same hole we went through just to complete that corner. Wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, back through the same hole, keeping that excess thread tucked on top of the crochet needle, not under, over, but you're not crocheting with it. Wrap the thread that you're crocheting with once over the crochet needle, pull that thread you just wrapped around the crochet needle back through the hole, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull that thread through the 2 stitches closest to the end of the hook, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, again pull that thread through the 2 stitches closest to the end of the hook. So now we should have 2 corners on one end and this corner on this end. And just as before, you're going to continue your double stitch on your crochet all the way to this end, making sure that you tuck this loose straggly bit into the crochet so that you're crocheting the straggly bit into the middle of the crochet. That way the tassely excess becomes hidden in amongst the crochet and you don't have to worry about cutting it off. Now again, this may be very fiddly, so I'm just going to walk you through this again. Once around the crochet needle, now you'll notice you're literally just going through the same lengths that we did earlier, but on the opposite side to the previous stitches we did, and you've got an extra tassely bit to link in. So now you're just going to repeat the double stitch all the way up to this end. You can see here, as you crochet, you're pulling this excess tassely bit into the crochet. So once you get to doing the corner at this end, you won't notice this little tassely bit that's hanging off. This bit you may find very fiddly. Just bear with it. If it gets too stressful, take a break and come back to it. Just a reminder for anyone who needs it, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle. Then you're putting the crochet needle through the hole next to or nearest to the hole that you previously went through. Then wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull that thread back through the same hole you just went through. Wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull that thread back through the 2 stitches nearest to the end of the crochet needle with the hook, and then wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull the 2 stitches nearest to the end of the hook off, making sure that you pull that thread through the 2 stitches, and just repeat that all the way up to this end. This next bit is for anyone who needs a reminder on how to do the corner. Bear in mind, the whole time of doing this blanket, we are using a double stitch. Please be careful when you're doing this. It may be very fiddly and a bit difficult to work with at first, but once you kind of get round the bit of starting and you start to actually continue the blanket, it does get a little bit easier once you get the hang of doing the actual double stitch in crochet as you get more confident with it. Wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, go through the hole nearest to the one you just went through, wrap the wool once, pull it back through, wrap the wool over, take off the 2 stitches, wrap the wool once, take off the 2 stitches. Repeat that same step to do 2 double stitches in that hole. Now you should have something like this. Please make sure when you're doing the corners you do the double stitches through the same hole. Now we're going to do the 2 lengths. Wrap the wool once, pull it through the stitch, wrap the wool once, pull it through the stitch, and then again 2 double stitches through the same hole to build your corner. This might be a bit fiddly. Reminder on the double stitch, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, back through it, and if you're doing the corner, make sure you go back through the same hole. So wrap the wool once, pull it back through, wrap the wool once, take off 2 stitches, pulling that thread through the 2 stitches, wrap the wool once, pull off those 2 stitches, pulling the wool through. You should end up with, it might be a bit fiddly and a bit squiffy at first, but you should end up with 2 corners, 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 corners each end, one at the top and one at the top and one at the bottom. So now that you have your 2 corners at either end, one on the top and one on the bottom, as you can see, you're going to do 1 double stitch through the hole nearest to you, but don't go through the top bit, go in between the double stitches. So don't go through here, go in between the double stitches. Wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull it through, back through the same hole, wrap the wool once over the crochet needle, pull off the 2 stitches nearest to the end of the crochet needle with the hook, and repeat that same step once over the crochet needle, pull through, pulling off the 2. Now, this corner that we did to start with, that corner on the top that we did when we first started off now becomes your starting corner. So remember which corner you started on, because you're going to need that to know how many rows or how many times you've gone around your crochet. You're going to need that to know when to change color and other things. You should have something like this now. So as I said previously, this corner, the first corner that you made when we started, now becomes your starting corner. As previously mentioned, you're going to need this to know when to change color, how many rows you've done, and things like that. An important thing to remember when it comes to changing the color, make sure you always do it on a corner. I will show you how to do that in a moment or two. So now you're just gonna, you may find it helpful to use a little clip like this, or maybe even like a safety pin or something like that, just so that you remember which corner you started on. So now that you've made that connection between the 2 halves of the crochet, you're now going to take those 2 halves and make it into one whole. So again, just do a double stitch into that corner and continue as if you were just making a normal corner. Link through, link, oh, through. Remember, when you're crocheting, don't pull that thread too tight. And then, so what I do with my crochet is I'll go round the crochet with like 4 rows of the color that I'm working on. Then when I get back to the corner that I started on, I will change the color. So you're just gonna keep crocheting your double stitch all the way around your crochet. And every time you get back to the corner you started on, that's when you start a new row. So keep crocheting around, I'd say a minimum of 4 times. So then what you should eventually get is something like this. Now I'm going to teach you how to change the color. Remember, a little clip or a safety pin or something like that, you can use just to put it on the corner that you started on, so that you remember how many times you've gone around or when to change the color. So I now want to change from this red color onto a white. Right, so now I've got the white. You can use a thicker wool if you like. I normally prefer to use a thicker wool, but I'm having to double up onto thinner balls of wool to get the thickness of the wool that I'd like. So if you're doubling up on the wool due to thin having like not the right thickness you want, you can just take the two ends of the wool and tie them together in a knot. That's only if you're doubling up on the wool. Now, if you're wanting to change the color that you're crocheting with, you are going to need a pair of scissors. I love these little tiny scissors that I'm using. You're also going to need your crochet needle, of course. So you've started your crochet, you've crocheted 4 rows around, and now you want to change the color. So what you do is you do your 2 double stitches into the corner like normal. So you've gone as though you're starting to do a new corner. You've got your 2 double stitches in the corner. Then what you want to do is roughly about, don't have to measure, but roughly about 3 to 4 centimeters across the thread of wool that you're using to crochet with. Cut roughly about 3 to 4 centimeters away from your crochet needle to cut off the thread. Now you're going to take the end of the wool that you would like to change color to, and you're going to tie the new color onto the original thread as close to the stitch as you can. This might be a bit fiddly, so I'm going to do this, try and show you this as best as I can. So just to make this easier for me, I'm going to put a clasp through that stitch just so we don't lose it. Right, so now you want to put the ends of the end of the new color that you're using next to the end of the original color you are using. Be careful not to drop your crochet needle from your stitch, as you may find it comes undone. This will be very fiddly. So you want to take the 2 ends of the colors and then trying as best as you can not to pull the stitch too tight. You want to tie the ends of the wool you're using together. You may find this a bit easier to do with the crochet needle still attached to the stitch. So when that's done, you should have something like this. So you have your stitch on your crochet hook, the original color you were using with the new color tied onto it, and your new thread. Now, you should have already done your 2 double stitches into that corner. Then, with the new color, you do 2 links with the original stitch. And then you just continue doing the corner like normal. But when you do, so after you've, let me just go through that step again. So once you've got to the corner that you started on and you'd like to change the color, you cut roughly about 3 to 4 centimeters away from the stitch you're working on. Cut the excess thread off. Then you take the new color, tie the 2 ends of the wool together as close to the stitch as you can get. Then with the new wool, continue to do the corner. So you do the 2 links, like so, and it should look a bit like this. So you should have the color you started with the new color. Now, this excess tassely bit, like we did before, we're just gonna crochet it so that tassely bit is hidden in the crochet. So you just continue the corners the same way, continue that corner the same way as you were previously, but you make sure that you line that excess tassely bit on top of your crochet so it gets stuck in between the stitch. And then you just crochet around like normal. You can pause the video and rewind back if you need to. So now you should have your corner with the original color and the new color. And then you just keep crocheting around. And eventually, once you do like 1 to 2 more rows, you won't actually notice that there was a color change. And when you get back round to the corner you started on, always after you've started the new corner or started the new row, always make sure you put your clasp or your safety pin back through that corner so you don't lose the one you started on. So now that you've changed the color, you can start your new row with the new color, making sure that excess tassely bit is crocheted so that it gets stuck into the crochet so you don't notice it. Changing colors at first can be tricky and complicated, but practice it a couple of times, you'll get the hang of it. Now with your new color, you would just continue all the way around, do the same amount of rows that you did with the color that you started on. So I did 4 rows with the color red, so I need to do 4 rows with the color white. So yeah, good luck with your crocheting, and I'll show you what mine looks like once I've finished doing the next 4 rows of this. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you for watching. If you do decide that you'd like to give crochet a try and you found the steps that I've shown you guys on how to do it helpful, brilliant and best of luck. I will post a few more videos on here just so you guys can kind of see the process of the whole thing, but I will be streaming on Twitch on Wednesdays in the morning. So if you want to see more of the process in real time, my Twitch is in the description down below. Twitch username is in the description down below. I will also put a link to my Twitch in the description. So make sure to go check that out if you're interested. I'll update you guys on the process of this next time, but if you want to see more of the process real time, go check out my Twitch stream on Wednesday. Bye! Thanks for watching.